Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I know a year ago before you signed with the 49ers, you were going to kind of weigh your options and see what was out there and before determining whether you're going to play another season. Um, where are you from that standpoint? Do you know for sure you're coming back? Where do you kind of feel you are in your career?
After year 10, I always said I was going to take it 1 year at a time, and take the off season, see how everything felt, and kind of go from there. So it's still where I'm at, and I think that process has worked well for me. And just to comment a little bit on the decision to come here, I am so thankful to be part of this organization, and be able to play this year and have the run we did. Didn't quite get it done, but I love this team. I love these guys, and I'm sure glad I made this choice.
Can't say that I'm an Alex Mack expert. I didn't study you in earlier seasons, but it seems like this was a very good year for you. And I'm just wondering how this year, 2021, compared to some of your better seasons, maybe with the Falcons.
I thought I played really good ball. That's part of the reason why I chose, this team and this offense. It's a system I know I can do really well, and I thought I played a good game. I know Firster was the first time I had him as a coach, and I think he was great. I learned a lot. I had a really great relationship with him, and really thankful to be able to come here and learn something new. And that's, I didn't really think I was going to really do that in year 13, and so it was a nice surprise to come here and develop and keep working hard, and keep adding little tricks to my game.
Alex, you obviously are someone who has a very close relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo. Have you had time to process the fact that it's going to be possibly without him next year? And did you have a moment just to kind of share with him after the game last night?
After the game, just everybody really, the general consensus of everybody was, man, like, sorry didn't get it done this year, but man, I appreciate you. And pretty much exactly what I said to Jimmy was, what a fun ride. Really appreciate you and all the work you've done. Great to be your teammate. Just appreciate you. And that's pretty much where we've left it, because no one really knows what the future holds.
And many of your teammates have talked about this locker room and how special it is and how special this run was. Is it different than other locker rooms that you've been in? Is this seem to be a closeness that you haven't seen previously?
I think this was a good group. I think we had a lot of guys that worked really hard, and everyone was really tight. And when you go through a lot in a season with ups and downs, it makes you tighter. And I think it really cements it into being a tight-knit group when you go through adversity and then you turn that corner and start having a lot of success, which we did. I think that really, makes everything good. The best way to have a really happy locker room is to win a lot of games. And I think we did that.
After you signed, I think you said, something to the effect of, I'm not what I once was, but I'm still pretty good. I was like, oh no, is he just kind of hanging on here? But did you surprise yourself at all this year with the way you played, or were you confident you could still, attain that level?
I was confident I could, play at that level. That's part of the reason why, I take the off season to see how I'm feeling, because I know what it takes to play a full year, and it's tough. It's a lot of commitment and a lot of work, and it's taxing on the body. And I felt confident coming into this year that I can get this done. I can do the job, and let's make a run. And we went pretty far.
All right, thank you, Alex.
All right.
Doing well. Don't know if you recall this from last year, but every year the San Francisco chapter of the Pro Football Writers named the winner the Gary Niver Award. Gary was a longtime sports writer in the Bay Area, passed away in the early 90s. It goes to the 49ers player who is most cooperative and professional in dealing with the media. This year we have co-winners.
Oh, yeah?
Yours and Jimmy Garoppolo is a co-winner. And also,
boy, Jimmy.
this is the 29th year of the award,
Uh-huh.
and there's been 26 different people who've won it.
Wow.
So we like to kind of spread the wealth around a little bit.
Yeah.
But for a second year in a row, you've been just so good, so open, so accommodating, that you are a co-winner, yourself and Jimmy. So congratulations, Trent.
Appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. You know, it's a little silver lining in this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of silver linings probably for you with the season you had and the stuff you dealt with. Can you kind of sum it up, like what this season meant to you personally?
Oh, it meant a lot for me. Just coming back last year off of so much time off, you know, I felt like I got in my groove, but it took me a little minute, you know, and it was sometimes where, you know, I felt the rust more times than others, and it was sometimes just you know, just not being in the building for a year and a half, the monotonous of it just every day, you know, I think that was something I had to get back used to. But I think this year I was able to come in, you know, of course not on a 1-year prove it deal, but you know with a team that seen me in the long-term plans, I was able to get a pretty good off season, you know, training with some direction, knowing where I'm going, knowing what scheme I'll be playing in. So I think that allowed me to come here this season and kind of play a more consistent brand of football and, you know, be more of who I thought I could be and I should be. And, you know, and I just appreciate the organization for that. They gave me the surroundings to be able to come out and be one of the better players that in the league, or, you know, in my opinion.
Trent, you're very close to Debo, and he was very emotional after the game last night. I suppose all of you were. Did you take some time to talk with him, and how did your relationship develop? I mean, it's not necessarily the closest positions that you would consider being really close friends, but you guys have done that.
Yeah, you know, I met Debo through Jared McKinnon a couple years ago, before I was ever set to come here. And, you know, I just always admired his film. Just watched my 19 year, I sat out and just watching him. And I just never seen a player that dynamic that can do what he can do with the football in his hands. And, you know, so I was already a fan of him, a fan of his work. And then he came to my gym to train with Jet, and that's where we initially met. And, you know, obviously became workout partners, and, you know, he came back, stayed at my house, worked out with me. You know, he got up at all times of the night with me to go work out. So, you know, that's where we really developed our relationship. And then me joining the team obviously doubled down on that. And I was able to see him every day, so we got closer and closer. But, you know, Debo, as good a player as he is, he's a better teammate. And that's why he has so many close friends in the locker rooms, because he's such an easy guy to get along with, and you know, on Sundays he's gonna give you everything you got.
Brent, just following up on what Matt said, thank you for all your help this year. We appreciate you a lot. You mentioned you felt like you were one of the better players in the league this year. Do you feel like this was your best season in the NFL? And if so, in what ways did you get to that level? How did you get there?
I do feel like this was my best year. And I feel like last year was my best year until this point. So, yeah, I got there by just working my tail off. You know, offensive line is so many bases to cover when you're talking about being a good offensive lineman. There's so many intricacies to our game. It's more of an art than it is anything. So there's a ton of work that has to be put in, and you know, luckily, I would say I was blessed enough to get with Adrian Peterson young in my career after my rookie year. He taught me how to work. He taught me how to work when nobody else was making me work. It's easy to go in there and do it when your strength coach or your position coach is yelling at you, or you'll get a fine for not being there. But, you know, when you're when you have months off at a time and you have money in your bank account to go any place in the world and travel and do all of these other things that people dream of doing, when you put all that to the side to continue to work, I think it says a lot about the character of that person or player, and that's what I want to be, and that's who I learned it from, and that's the blueprint. That's how I continue to work, and that's why I continue to try to come and get better each year.
Hey, I remember in training camp, I think you said something about, Trey Lance could be, or you had very strong praise in him. He's a generational talent, but you were very impressed with him. How did he, obviously he started at a pretty high point, I guess, in your estimation, but how did he continue to grow throughout his rookie season, and what do you think is possible for him next year?
Well, I think he grew a tremendous amount, and and Trey is a very inquisitive person. He's not one of the people that think he knows it all. He's somebody who comes to learn and comes to work, and he's always picking brains around no matter what position you play. Like, we even had a talk last night about just quarterback playing how it marries up with offensive linemen and stuff like that. For like an hour or so. So he's that type of individual, and I think this year it played out just how everybody in the organization thought it would. We wanted to they wanted to give him a year to kind of continue to develop as being a 21-year-old. Just was old enough to buy his first beer or a pack of cigarettes like a few months ago. So you don't want to we can't just put the weight of the world on his shoulders. Even though he is a young man who can handle it. But, I think it went exactly how we wanted it to go. He developed very nicely on the practice squad. He was 1-1 as a starter. Should have been 2-0. He came in and won a game for us when we was in playoff mode. Because if we would have lost that game, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs, and it wouldn't have been in yesterday. So, I definitely think he came in and did what he was supposed to do. He was in there. He helped him and Jimmy fed off each other, informed each other. He learned, and we'll see what next year brings. Hopefully he get a full off season to kind of, work in the right direction, know what he's working for after going through a full season. And, I have no doubt in my mind that he can be he is a generational talent, and now it's just putting that talent with the work ethic and making it come together on Sundays.
Hey Trent, now that the season's over, I can't help but think back to that night when you signed in the offseason and Alex Mack signed too, and you got those two veteran fixtures on the offensive line. Since you guys went through this whole journey as a team, crawling out of that hole at the 3-5, how do you reflect on that as far as how the offensive line gelled with you and Alex being two of the centerpieces? And then spinning that forward, how excited are you moving forward? Because I know you started to dabble in some cool stuff there at the end, like the motion that they ran with you. How excited are you to continue to build on some of that moving forward?
Yeah, to answer your first question, I think I told Alex last night we wouldn't be here without him. Just the way that he can go and diagnose the defense at the line and get everybody going in the right direction. Just the massive wealth of knowledge that he has about football and schemes, and there's never a look he hasn't seen. Alex was a blessing for us, this year. Definitely something we needed. We needed that veteran presence as a center, and to get everybody headed in the right direction. So he definitely brought a lot to this team. I think it showed, And what was the second question again? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, with the packages. Yeah, from the motion. And, I was just telling Mike, I appreciate him for, I feel like what they're doing and what they've decided to do with me, just not even with the motion stuff, but as much as they put on my plate with every game plan. I think they allowed the world to kind of see, what all I possess as a player, not just, kicking back and pass blocking, but actually getting out in space and being able to, show off my athleticism, being able to show that I can do different schemes. But ultimately, I think with the stuff and the, the motion stuff and, the silver spirit is what we call it. I think that I think it's innovative. I think it'll change the game. I mean, we know if you see a lineman running in full speed motion from here on, you know where they got it from. So I think, we can hang our hat on and say, we kind of started a trend, or we could transform the game or how offensive linemen are looked at. But I am definitely excited about to see, what more we can add to that, and, hopefully it can be, I ain't going to say a staple in his offense, but it'll be a new wrinkle.
Trent, I mean, the line did just seem to gel pretty well as the season went along, but what kind of sense do you have of what it might look like just to the right of you next year? I mean, do you have a sense that a lot of these guys are coming back, or there's going to be an influx of youth coming into the line?
I don't know that at right now. I know, obviously, Laken is a free agent, and it's one guy that myself, I know probably more than anybody in the organization would definitely want back, and definitely know that we need him back. He's a very instrumental piece to this offense. So, it's one of those things, the business of it. We'll see how free agency play out. But whatever it is, whatever he get, he deserves it tenfold. And, he's a guy that we can't do it without. So hopefully he's back. But, other than that, hopefully we get Mike back, McGlinchey back, and, get some of the younger old linemen into the fold, get Banks, they've had their red shirt year, and Colton had a pretty good year to build off of. Even Jalen got a start in, got some reps to build off of. So, I think we're in a good position to have a strong and deep offensive line room the next year as well, if we can bring Laken back.
My colleagues here have asked you a lot of good questions. This probably doesn't qualify as a good question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I noticed the flowers on your left breast, and then yesterday you had the flamingo, and the teddy bear, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
Oh, it was just a jacket. I think it was I forgot what collection it was from. It's a Louis Vuitton jacket. I just, I thought I wanted to make a little splash for the NFC Championship game. These flowers right here is just a little sweatsuit and something to come get an extra physical in.
With Jimmy Garoppolo's future uncertain, did you take a little time to have a chat with him, talk to him after the game or today?
Yeah. Not even the fact that his future is uncertain, just the fact that, we're gonna go on a little, extended break, and we miss those guys. You see them every day, man. It's family, so I'm not really thinking about him not being here. I understand the way the business goes. I think Jimmy has played, well enough to where he'll be a starter for somebody, even if it's not here. And I think he's put himself in position. He's won enough games to where, he's a serious competitor. But I'm not, I would never really sitting here thinking about how it would be without him. I was just letting him know how thankful we was to have him to continue to fight through all those, injuries he had, and most quarterbacks probably would have shut it down. And Jimmy G is a warrior, man. He's a fighter, and that's why this team loves him to death.
Last one.
I like that, Trent. That's exit interview attire. Not sure we can pull that off, but you certainly do. I wanted to ask you. You said you're going to see how you felt once that everything wore off last night. What does it feel like, once everything wears off? And I just wanted to ask you about, there was one play where you kind of got bent backwards and looked like it couldn't have been, I'm not sure which ankle it is right now, but it could have been good on either ankle. It was in the second quarter, and you had kind of a problem, getting back up after that. Can you just describe, if you could feel your ankle, what that felt like?
Oh, yeah, I definitely felt that one. That's why I didn't want to get up. But yeah, it actually sucks, man. Just being since they share stadiums, they got to paint their logo before every game. So I don't know who brilliant idea that was, but you putting these high paid athletes on, when you standing on that paint, it's like wood almost, so it's like I was unfortunate enough to be on that paint when I was trying to anchor a bull rush, and my left leg, which is not the injured leg, it slipped first, and then the weight shifted to my right leg, which is the injured leg, and then you see it got kind of twisted up. So yeah, that was pretty painful. I know and then it woke it up a lot. So whatever I wasn't feeling, I felt everything after that.
All right, thank you, Trent.
All righty, y'all take care. Appreciate y'all again.
I'm all right, man. How you doing today?
Doing well. I know everybody kind of copes with a game like that in their own way. What was your process to kind of put that thing to bed, or have you?
I mean, it might take a little while longer for me to put it to bed. It's I don't know what to tell you, man. It's everything we've been through all year. From the early struggles we had to get to this point and come up short. It's tough, and it's gonna take a little bit longer to kind of process this one.
Hey, Laken, I assume you want to come back to the 49ers. Have you or your agent had any sort of preliminary talks, or have you gotten kind of a sense of what direction that could go?
I mean, I love it here, and I've like kind of like watched myself develop into the man, the player, the husband and the father, the character that I am today. And that all started with getting traded here to the 49ers. And I owe a lot of thank yous to a lot of people that had faith in me in here. I mean, I would love to stay, but I know it's a business, and we'll see what's happened. But I love it here. I always loved it here, and everyone's been great to me here.
Laken, kind of following up on both of those, obviously it's a tough loss just in general, but how much does that kind of uncertainty that you have about what's next factor into maybe your emotions about what happened last night?
I mean, nothing really. Honestly, I haven't really thought. I made it a point to not really think about that stuff till I needed to, and I thought I did a pretty good job, throughout the year, and and that's just a reflection of just what kind of organization that's here with the Niners, creating that environment to allow me to work, and it wasn't really a thought for me. I just came to work every day because I truly believe, deep down in my heart that we're a special team. I still do today.
Laken, would you be open to saying specifically what it is about this organization that did help you to grow, as I believe you said, a man, a husband, and a father?
I mean, honestly, is that everybody being real. When I first got here, I mean, I didn't know, what my career was going to shape out to, when I first got here, and but I had a lot of people who believed in me, when I first got here. Obviously, Kyle and Lynch, but I also had great teammates along the way, and Joe Staley and everybody back then, and all the guys on this team this year, especially in the offensive line room. So it's been a extremely healthy working environment here, and that's something that's something truly special, because once you have that, as a team, it makes it a lot easier to grind through the tough times as a team.
Laken, as someone who spends so much time with Jimmy Garoppolo and not knowing what the future holds, did you take a little time to have a moment with him, have a little chat with him before, I guess, after the game last night and today?
Yeah, I talked to Jimmy, and but it's just mostly I just wanted to thank him personally, like everything he'd been through, because like all of his stuff is like it's a lot more out there, and not something he has to deal with every day, and but throughout all of it, he's just been professional, and he's continued to be a leader, and took everything with great optimism, and helped the team to get to where we got. So that's what I wanted to tell him, man. And he's a hell of a guy, and I respect the hell out of him, man. He's a hell of a competitor, and things that he's been throughout his career, you can tell that this dude really can. He really loves the guys on the team.
Hey, and what did you see from Trey Lance this year that suggests he might be ready to take over next season?
I mean, Trey came in, and obviously with the situation they had, he's been nothing but like a sponge. He was absorbing everything that guys, the coaches have been throwing at him, and he's an amazing young man, and the future is bright for him, and I'm excited for him.
All right, thank you, Laken.
Hey, faithful, click here to subscribe.